Thank you for joining me here today. I am here with my good friend Aimee, who is a graduate from my Chakra Alchemy Program. In 2022, Aimee came on board and was one of the first of my students, we would say, to go through my Chakra Alchemy Program, which is a 90-day program that takes us through the chakras, but also all of the emotions that are associated with each of those chakras, and we alchemize them. So we purify them, we look at what is holding us back in each of those areas, and then we transform ourselves and come to some realizations and let a lot of shit go, basically, as Aimee can attest to. So welcoming Aimee here to join me. I'll just get Aimee on the screen. Hi Aimee, welcome.
Good morning, Priestess Nicola. Thanks so much for having me here today. I'm excited to share with everybody what I was able to achieve on the Chakra Alchemy Program.
Thank you, Aimee. And yeah, in 2022, we managed to meet up at the opportune time for both of us to really connect over what we were working through at that time and creating at that time. And we had known each other previously before. We'd met a few times prior to that, but this journey that we were both on kind of like overlapped, and we were able to kind of unfold into this journey together. So I'd love it if you could elaborate a little bit on that story, and then we can talk a little bit more about that together.
Yeah, sure. We did have quite a cute meetup story. We met at a party, and I had kind of told myself before I went to the party that I wanted to make some new friends at this party. So I got there, and I just stopped drinking, and that was the kind of reason I'd given myself a challenge, because I have social anxiety and I was a bit nervous. So I got to the party and I saw Nicola. She was kind of standing a little off to the side, and I thought, well, she looks like she could use I said, I'm going to go talk to that lady over there. I've met her before. We'd kind of had like small talk interactions and things, but so I just went over and started chatting and asked Nicola what she'd been up to lately. And she shared with me some cool study that she'd been doing and how she was working on a program. And I said, can I jump in on that? I've got so much pain in my body, and I'm kind of at a stage where I need to look outside of the box and find a new way of dealing with this, because just taking opiates constantly wasn't actually helping me. So I kind of opened up to Nicola about that struggle that I was having, and we kind of had a bit of a moment, and it was quite cool.
It was quite cool. We definitely had a kitchen chat moment at that party, which was really helped us totally around the cheese platter. And yeah, I was also in a space where I have suffered from social anxiety in the past as well, and as you said, that was a party where I didn't know too many people as well. I had been invited, and I felt like it was an opportunity for me to go and meet new people and make new friends as well. But also I had just kind of really conceptualized and created this program, and I was like, I want to speak to it, with people about what I've created, to kind of like add more momentum and flow to what I was creating, just by talking to people, whether or not that meant that someone would come into my program or not. But it's just a way to talk about what you're passionate about and what you're working on. So it's not just like a secret thing over here that I'm brewing. It's like, this is an offering that I want to share with the world, and the way to do that is to speak about it with people. And it was almost like it was just like great timing for us both to come in, and you were pretty much the first person that I spoke to in depth at that party as well. Like, I'd spoken to a couple of other people briefly and engaged, but I don't think I'd been there long. I'd only been there maybe like half an hour before we started talking, and so I was like, this is the conversation I came here to have. And it wasn't long after that before we went into the Chakra Alchemy Program. I think it took maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks of messaging before we had our first session. And yeah. And how did you feel going into the program, like with the initial setup and building the connection together? How did you find that flow?
Well, we had quite a beautiful moment where we went for a walk,
Mm.
and we went to the bush and went to this gorgeous plant sanctuary. And Nicola showed me all the plants she used to play on as a child, and once I hadn't seen. And we were just chatting about our lives and what we wanted to achieve. And the next thing I know, I'm bawling my eyes out in the middle of the forest. And sharing all these things that I didn't even like. I knew I had certain issues and traumas in my life, but I didn't really know why. And suddenly, all these words were coming out of my mouth, and I shared all these um, really strong emotions with Nicola. And yeah, and then we just felt quite connected, and I felt really safe. I was also really quite fascinated with just the whole concept. So I was really interested and wanted to explore it. So I was a little bit nervous, but I was also really interested and quite excited.
Yeah, I really loved the location of the walk as well, because there were the tracks that we seemed to choose, there weren't many people on, so we could have those
Mm.
kind of conversations, and there weren't a lot of kids around or other, you know, people walking past. So the conversation about what you wanted to work on could really flow, and then the permission for the emotions to come up kind of was allowed, because it's almost like the forest knew, and it was holding space for us as well on that bushwalk. So yeah, was it?
It also kind of helped me with the meditations, because when you were visualizing your starting point in the meditation, there was often roots and trees and sun, and you could hear forest noises and things. So I could visualize going back to that starting point, because we kind of found, what do we call it? A clearing in the forest, and we were talking there, so I would visualize that place, and it really helped start me off, because meditating was very new to me.
Yeah, right. And how did you find the process of going through the different meditations through each session? Did you feel like you could get deeper each time with having it be such a new aspect to you?
Definitely, because it was a little bit like each session I got a new past another door or something, or to it like a video game up to the next level. So every step was building on the last one and gaining more knowledge, and getting deeper into myself. So yeah, it was a very well ordered progression.
I love that. I love that. And because we were working through the chakras as well, with each meditation, we went into the different chakras. Were you aware of them before we started?
I definitely heard the word, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you anything about it. But I did find it very useful, because you knew I was an absolute beginner, and you would change the wording sometimes and call it a throat chakra, as opposed to, I know other chakras have names like the sacral chakra, which didn't really resonate with me as much as body parts. So I kind of felt like I got chakra for dummies. So it was very easy to digest for me, thankfully.
So good. Yeah, that's good. And when we went through the meditations, were you able to kind of like feel the sensations in your body where they were as well? Was it sensation?
Um,
Yeah.
there was some crazy sensations. I was having a lot of gynecological pain at the time, and when we got to my womb chakra, I could feel a lot going on in there, like a lot of negative energy, and I was able to shoot rays out my vagina and get rid of it. So that was quite good. Um,
I forgot that. I forgot
you
that.
forgot that, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, that was quite fun, and turned my pain into something I could laugh at. So it was, and I could feel like my heart and my throat. And then when we got into the third eye, which was a little bit later, I could feel it, and that just really helped just get me right into the exercise. It's like, oh, it's working, let's dig deeper. And that was quite exciting.
And so we went through these emotions when we went through these, and at the beginning we talked about the difference between like suppressed emotions and repressed emotions, and how each are different, like the subconscious, the unconscious is repressing them, and I feel like you had a lot of aha moments around around that as well. Do you remember anything around that?
Oh, I remember, because I usually am emotionally quite a flat person, and I just start crying for no reason. And there was just emotions that I packed away for later, and they just come pouring out. So that was quite unusual for me. But I did, after, like, you just have this purge of tears, do feel a lot better. So it was almost like a pressure valve going off.
Yeah, for sure. And that release as well, did you find it helpful that, like, in the program, like, it's not necessary as such for me to know what's going on for you internally, like it can be a fully process, and for you just to release, and not necessarily tell the whole story of what you're releasing. Like, I don't need to know where it came from, and there was no pressure for you to tell me. Did that allow more to come up, knowing you didn't have to verbalize it to me if you didn't feel comfortable?
Oh, totally. But also what was helpful is, because these things were buried so deep and I was quite new to this process, I didn't always know what the emotions were. Like, they'd come to me later. I have probably my favorite thing that came back was a little thing I call my Dave Dobbin moment. I've always had a lot of, I always thought that what I needed in life was to buy a house, and that would show success, and that would show that I'd done good, and then I would feel safe in that house, and because that's what I was looking for. But unfortunately, the money just never got there, and prices of houses are so expensive now that I was really feeling a lot of emotion around it, and stress and failure. And then one day I was driving in the car, and Dave Dobbin came on the radio, and it was that song Welcome Home. And I just started crying in the car going down Tinakori Road, and realized that I wasn't looking for a house. I was looking for a home. It was a home I needed to feel safe in. And then I just went home and really did some hardcore decorating, and made my house, my little 1-bedroom flat, my absolute home and sanctuary. And this is where my partner and my dog live. This is my family and my home. And that's what I really wanted, was a home, and not necessarily a family, but, you know, my people are here, my things are here, I'm safe here. And I realized I already had that. And that was a big deal for me. And I told also my pain psychologist, and she was like, oh, well, that's a huge thing to realize. And she was very impressed with the work we'd been doing as well.
I love that as well, that you have been really resourceful in incorporating so many different, like, you've got your pain psychologist, you've been doing other treatments and therapies and acupuncture and everything to really get a good overview. And then this has kind of really helped kind of piece a lot of the emotional links together with everything. Do you feel?
Yeah, I kind of feel like the Chakra Alchemy program was really the building blocks, or the foundations, because I didn't really have any spirituality or any religion. I just went off logic and facts. But I knew my pain and my depression that I felt really trapped in. I knew I had to find another way to deal with it. So Chakra Alchemy really let me see myself and figure out myself better, and then I could listen to my body and listen to my brain and think, what do I need right now, and then what would help me. And I've gone to acupuncture, and that was really cool. Like, I loved the way that the acupuncturist spoke, and it tied in a lot with the Chakra Alchemy, and he thought it was really cool as well. And my pain psychologist I work with, we work on a lot of the same concepts as Nicola does. And also I've come to realize what's going on in my body a lot more. Recently I was feeling quite unbalanced, and I was able to really take a good hard look at myself and think, hang on a sec, I think my hormones are out of whack. And I went to the doctor and told her exactly that, and she looked at me and goes, yes, you've started menopause. And also I've been having a really hard time with depression and anxiety lately, and I took a really hard look at my brain and what it was doing and thought, hang on a second, I think I've got ADD. So I've able to realize that my neurodiversity is my brain, and that's fine. That's just the type of brain I have, and I've moved past that. And I'm getting help with a diagnosis for adult ADD, but I just didn't have the insight before of my body as a machine or as a system. And now I can like look outside myself and see what my problems are a lot easier, when before I was really just burying them in alcohol. And I didn't have self-awareness. So it was really the building blocks to self-awareness is what I would call chakra alchemy for me.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah,
for
pretty cool too.
It's pretty cool. And so that journey, we finished that like 18 months ago. We finished that now. And that's been everything that you just described as well as being part of that journey that's followed on. Yeah. And how has it really helped you, the techniques that you've applied to your life?
There you go. Well, I guess the thing that I was feeling the most was I just felt so disconnected, and I had so much social anxiety, and I didn't really feel like I fit in anywhere. But I've managed to see the bigger picture and understand people a little bit better, and that's helped me reconnect with my mother. It's helped me reconnect with my friends, and I'm also able to be a lot more honest about how I'm feeling if I'm unwell, and know my limits when I'm unwell. So it's helped me manage my my brain. Since finishing the Chakra Alchemy program, I just feel a lot more grounded and connected to the earth for some reason. When I feel really lost and confused or stressed now, I've got better ways to come back and sort myself out myself a lot quicker. There's lots of cool things, like I feel a lot more connected to the earth, and I can I've got a lot of house plants now, which I like to tend to, and they help me feel more connected to the bigger picture, because it's not just me and everything that's happening to me. There's a whole universe. There's people. There's everyone else that we're all buzzing around. So it connects me back.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what it was really about, isn't it? It's about unpacking how we've been programmed. And you mentioned about your mum earlier, but just how anyone from our youth programs us through parental figures and teachers and friends and and everyone and anyone. And so it really is that unpacking so that we can know our better. And then understand how others are functioning and maybe why they're doing the things that they're doing, and to be able to see things a bit more objectively rather than like a tunnel vision of like anxiety, depression, trauma, and being so reactive to the world. So I feel like, yeah, from what you've said, that it's just about feeling more comfortable in ourselves as well, I guess, as well. Did you feel that a bit more comfort come through in you?
Oh, totally. When I found out about potentially having ADD, I felt comfort in that. Like that explained why my brain does things. It's like why I can't do one thing, I have to do 9 things and then come back to the first thing. Like, and when I found out I had menopause, I just felt comfort in that. Like it was fine. Like I was right.
Yeah.
I know what's wrong now. I was having really bad symptoms, and now I can get better. They've also had a really good one, and I just lost it.
Yeah, I like what you just said though. It's just about the comfort in learning that is like your intuition, because we tapped into and worked through your intuition, and through, like you said at the beginning with your third eye, when we worked on that, you really felt quite activated through that area. Is because the anxiety and the depression was pulling you down so low that was completely lost. And so we realigned everything, that there's a bit more flow in your intuition. And so these things that you just kind of like knew or felt the comfort of knowing that. I think if potentially if you learned those other things without being there would be more of a spiral, you know, like it's being adjusted to when we learn those things about ourselves or about the world around us or the dynamics we have with people, there's less potential to spiral out, you know, and to a negative spiral, which potentially
Yeah.
can still happen to all of us, but it's just
Oh, it totally can.
out of
Yeah, and I realized that all the bad things that had happened to me, I was still holding on to them. They were like badges on my scout scout uniform. I was like, no, I've done this. You have to see this pain. But through the program, I was able to let it go.
yeah.
And that allowed me to replace those negative things with positive things, coping strategies and techniques and awareness. But before, it was just holding on to all this horrible, nasty baggage that was just dragging me down. I just didn't know how to get rid of it. So that was a really big thing for me. So thank you, Nicola, for that. And also you taught me how to write things down and set them on fire to get rid of them. And that was also very fun. So I really enjoy doing that now. So that's a technique that I've picked up that I still use, is the purging with fire. But yeah,
On fire.
better about
It's fucking great.
I haven't added any baggage because I've let it go as I've gone along. So I've been able to keep that going, and I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you for that too. That's a beautiful thing to realize and integrate and continue to do. Definitely. And with some of the meditation journeys, was there a favorite one that you had, or was there some journeys that were really visual for you that you really connected into?
There was one that was very special. I talked a lot to Nicola about my pain and my illnesses, and most of them were hereditary. And I felt quite burdened by the fact that I was just going to get this regardless because it was in my genes. And one journey we went, and there was a circle of women, and they were my circle of women, and my grandmother was there and my great grandmother, who I was very close to, and they had passed, and I was able to reconnect, and I felt like I had support with this sisterhood, and it was a really beautiful moment because I missed them so much and I felt quite lost, and I always feel like I wish they were still here because they were so helpful to me growing up. So yeah, that was a really special moment, and that's one of the sessions I just cried from start to finish. I couldn't help it. But yeah, that felt really cool, and it kind of reminded me I needed to have that connection with people because I'd shut myself off so much. So I have a circle of gays more than a circle of girls, but they all know my problems, and I can talk to them and connect with them, even if it's about my girls' bits they don't usually need to know, but they're finding out anyway. So reconnecting with that circle, and also when I found out I had menopause, I thought I need a circle. So I made a Facebook group with all my aunties and my mum and my sister so they can laugh at my menopause journey and maybe share some wisdom with me. So I made my circle in a couple. Well, I've got a couple of circles now, so that's quite cool. So that was very special for me. Feeling like I'd spoken to and had touched my grandmother's hand, and she put her hand on my head, and that was a lot, but that was really beautiful. That was my favorite one by far.
Yeah, and I could feel the power in that as well. There was a lot of letting go and releasing the burdens, but also remembering the gifts that you're getting from them as well. Like there was just such a powerful dynamic in that meditation that really released a lot, which was fantastic. What else? It really was, the Chakra Alchemy program, I think, is going to be amazing whether you do it solo or in a group setting. There's definitely benefits to both, but I think the fact that the journey that we were both on, we got to just interact one-on-one, and I really customized each session for you. So I had my layout for each session. But then based on what came up in the previous session, I created the next one specifically to flow on. Could you feel that journey really unfolding like quite organically and tailored?
Yeah, it was very tailored. So I noticed that Nicola was going into a lot of detail, so I could understand some of the new concepts to me. She also knew that I was a big animal lover, so would incorporate animals into the sessions, because when I could find my spirit animal, I thought that was really exciting, and it helped me get further into the program. But also it was really tailored to what I needed, which was help with my pain. And we spent a lot of time purging pain from the body, and forgiving myself for being embarrassed of the pain or angry at the pain. Yeah, it was very tailored in what I needed, which was awesome, but also very tailored to the fact that it was all very new to me. So that if she hadn't have tailored it quite that much, I don't know that, I think it would have been harder for me being new, but because it was so special, it felt very easy.
Definitely. And I think because it was one-on-one as well, like there was definitely like that room to really tailor it so much. Do you feel, you mentioned about like feeling incredibly grounded into the earth now. We start each meditation in the same way. You know, when we go to meditations, we set up the space and do those grounding techniques. Do you use them, or do they pop into your head throughout the day? Like, do you use those techniques? Because it was, you know, the setup for each session that we went through is essentially the same. Like, do you feel like that is?
I do use some of them. One thing I especially do when I, because I have neoplastic pain, which is pain created by your brain that isn't, like, it's not a physical injury, but it's still really debilitating pain, and is so bad I managed to have surgery for endometriosis, but I don't have endometriosis. But now when these pains come on, I can, if I do have a quiet space, I can sit and I can do deep breaths, and I can feel that core back into the earth, and I can push my pain out of my body. But even if it's not in a quiet place now, I've done that technique so many times, if I can just shut my eyes and do a couple of deep breaths and really push that energy down, I can push the pain out of my body, which is quite handy and means I don't need to take opiates. So that's been my number one technique that I keep using, is that real grounding. And even if it's not physical pain, even if it's like I feel my nervous system racing and maybe a panic attack coming on, I can use that grounding technique to really push the pain out, even if it's emotional pain. And yeah, gardening as well. If I'm feeling like, some days when you're just really under a funk or a black dog, I'll just go and pot some plants and get my hands in the ground, or sit on the ground and put my hands on, sit on a tree, and just take yourself out of your head for a minute and into the nature, and smell the plants and hear them rustling, and just get right back. So yeah, those have been the things that have been most useful for me so far.
Love that. And yeah, because I remember in between sessions we were like sending pictures of plants, and you're like, what should I do with this one? And I want to set these up. And it was a real journey of cultivating that connection with the earth, which is
also
just
keeping something alive.
oh.
Is something to make you proud and is nice for your soul. So yeah, I haven't killed too many plants, but there's been some casualties, but the ones that are alive look fabulous.
That's it, yeah.
Well, it's been an interesting hobby, which I also didn't really have before, and my pain psychologist was quite insistent that I take up a hobby. So houseplants was my hobby, and that was cool.
Nice. Yeah, and you've recently subdivided some off, and I'm looking forward to getting one.
Yes.
Yes,
The Mount Gay carnivorous plants are still alive. So yes.
we had a
yeah, I like weird plants, so it didn't have to be. There's a hobby for everyone.
I like that. I like that. And so with the Chakra Alchemy Program, you were mentioning about your nervous system and the internal, it's like an internal whirring that you were like, do you feel like we managed to like calm that down a little bit, or how did you feel?
It definitely comes up sometimes. It's more occasional now, and I have that's when I started to think, when it came back last time, what's imbalanced here. That also helped when I went to the acupuncturist. He helped explain a lot of systems in the body to me as well, and how to that there's various types of imbalances and how they can make you feel. So yeah, I was sorry, I lost my train of thought.
He gave it a name, didn't he? What did he call it? The type of energy? I can't remember.
Oh, a chaos rhythm.
Chaos rhythm, that's right.
That sounds really badass, so I quite enjoyed it. But that helped me realize that there was something in balance. So that's when I went, what is it? And I thought about it and realized it was hormones. And so yeah, so now I can, when the imbalance or the chaos rhythm comes up, that's when I really sit and think on it and try and figure out, where is it coming from? Why is it there? Is it just stress? Is my body need something? Am I about to burn out? Like, what is the cause of the chaos rhythm? How can I soothe it? Do I need self-care? There's all these techniques that I didn't have before. I just had alcohol and shopping. Yes, shopping, but yeah, now I've got healthy ways to deal with things and drug-free ways to deal with things. And I often find that when you are more in tune with your body, I can get rid of the imbalance or the pain quicker than if I took tramadol for the pain. So it's actually more efficient. And yeah, so getting rid of pain that fast is such an asset to my life. So yeah, that's a big thing for me.
Yes, I'm so proud of you for just being really dedicated in the program as well, because it was 90 days and a 3-month program, and we met pretty much every week I think we had an integration week where we left it for 2 weeks, just to have a bit of time during where it was getting a bit more intense and heavier things were coming up. So I really just want to commend you on committing to yourself and your healing journey and what you were learning and integrating, and being able to keep those practices like alive after we had finished as well. So yeah.
Well, I kind of realized that I was the only one that was going to be able to fix me, because of my problems were all very self-centered in my brain and my nervous system. So I had to do it, because it was that or give up. But the Chakra Alchemy Program was so interesting. It really kept me involved. So that's helped. If it wasn't interesting and so personalized, I don't think I would have been so attached to it and absorbed it so well. So and then everything I've done since then is things that have interested me, like acupuncture, or going to talk about ADD. I find brains and their functions very interesting. So I've used things that are interesting to me to heal me, so I can keep focused. So that's partially how I get it all done, and just because I have to. I don't really have a choice. So
we don't have a choice, do we? Like, we are
no.
responsible for our own nervous system and how we respond and react to the world, and what our internal system is doing. And we're the only ones that can have, like, this is the only thing that we can control in the world, is how we respond to
exactly. So I've learned that before. I was quite short with people and wasn't a warm person. So I've been working on all sorts of things in my life since the program. Been working on being kinder, working on showing more gratitude, and found that people respond to me a lot better. They say lots of nice things to me. They share with me because I'm more open now, and they know more about what's going on when I'm unwell. So yeah, there's lots of things that I've done since the program that were because of the program. So yeah, life's changed quite a lot, thankfully.
And it's feeling safe to do so as well, right? To be able to share, which is, all
Yeah.
comes self and understanding and knowing. Yeah, these things. Yeah. So thank you for saying that the program was interesting and like you found it
Yeah.
really like you were learning something. Well, that's what we want, right? When we go into a program, is that you're learning something new each time. But I'm so passionate about it as well because I find it interesting. And these are the things like how the brain works and how it connects to the body. And these are all these things that I'm learning and understanding and putting into place with how the emotions function in the body and why we kind of respond or react to external things the way we do and how we've been programmed in our like limiting beliefs and how we project out onto the world what's coming up for ourselves. So so
We
thank
did
you. Thank you so much. We did good. So thank you so much for joining me today. Like I do really I'm really proud of you for everything that you have done for yourself so that you can feel more like a happy functioning human in the world and create your own family space and your home that you have there is really important to be able to feel comfortable in yourself and your little bubble that you kind of create for yourself. So
Yeah, well, well, thank you very much. Thank you, Priestess Nicola, for everything you gave me and everything you shared with me to help me on this journey. It was really a game changer for me. I don't think I would have been able to go forward and do all the other work without these building blocks to really set me up. So I'll always be very grateful. And I'm also very proud of you for all the work you've done and putting this program out into the world so you can help people. So thank you for that. It's a wonderful thing you've done, and I'm really proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, some tears. Warm fuzzies,
Well,
So and it really is a journey, isn't it? That's constantly unfolding every time we learn something new and integrate.
yeah.
So I look forward to catching up with you again another time. And we can go for a bushwalk one day or something when it's not
Yeah, we'll
raining.
go cry in the bush together.
Yeah, we'll go cry. Yeah, we'll find a clearing with a beautiful tree and connect. Release and all those
As
two ways. Cool. All right. Well, I will let you go on your day. And thank you again so much for joining me, and we'll connect again another time.
It was my absolute pleasure. And I hope all your new participants love it as much as I did.
I'm 100% sure that I'm here to be a change maker in people's lives. So thank you.
Awesome.
All right. And if we can, just send you on your way. Thank you, Aimee. That was so amazing and wonderful to connect with Aimee today and hear about her journey through my Chakra Alchemy program that I've put together. So it is this 90-day program where we work through all of the different chakras, starting at the lower chakras. But even before that, we look at the emotions and the different ways that we repress and suppress them and really understand how we hold on to and store the emotions before even journeying into meditation and looking at those things. So next year I am offering this program as a group program. I'm looking to welcome up to 10 women into the program that will be happening next year, dates to be confirmed. And so journeying together in a group as well as being a solo one-on-one aspect to the program, each have its benefits. Journeying in a group, you get to see and hear and understand other women's journeys and realize that you're not alone in what you are going through in your life. And there's only a small amount of these human experiences that we can have, and together they tend to overlap. And when one woman shares in a group, it really gives permission and ignites trust in the safety of the group for other women to share, and what heals one person in a group setting is gonna help and heal the collective. And as Aimee mentioned as well, like having a circle of women or a circle of friends, or whoever you feel the most trust with is really a beautiful way to transform through your emotions. And so with that, I will be posting more information about Chakra Alchemy Program and leading up to setting dates and links for being on the wait list for when those dates are announced as well. So with that, I will sign off and let you head on your day. And then let me find the right buttons to do. And yeah, all right then, take care. See you next time. Bye. Okay.